Okay, welcome everybody. My name is Donovan Sadiq. I am candidate for District 1, and you have now entered what I call the candidate's thoughts. And I'm trying to put this out there so that when people want to get a feel for me or see what I'm about, they understand where I'm coming from. This is brought to you by News from the Edgemont, the very same people who are putting on a candidate forum in Edgemont September 25th, 4 o'clock to 7 p.m. And a lot of candidates that are trying to avoid this debate, because it's a debate, it's not a forum, it's not a meet and greet. We're having a meet and greet on the 26th. And a lot of candidates, certain candidates, are trying to avoid a debate because a debate is worse than a UFC fight. And if you enjoy UFC, you cannot afford to miss this debate, because this is where the candidates themselves can call in question their opponent's records, what they've been doing, and all that stuff. I mean, and it gets sometimes very, very ugly if it isn't done in a polite way. So if you don't have experience in debating, it also brings out candidates' personalities. So if a person is flustered, you're going to see that. You can't afford to miss this. This is going to be at the Edgemont Community Center, September 25th, 4 to 7 p.m. District 3 candidates are welcomed, and to introduce themselves. We really can't vote for them out here, but we do want to invite and introduce all the candidates. So what's very important is if you are running for mayor in District 1, I believe the situation in Edgemont it should be in the top 3 issues of your campaign and why you're running. You cannot be mayor and not address the problems and the lack of development in the Edgemont area. And as a resident of Edgemont, I want to know what the mayor's going to do. And as a candidate, I'm going to tell you what I would like to do. Okay? So, there are some candidates out there that are using the excuse because News from Edgemont is putting this venue on, that it gives me an unfair advantage. I've already explained that I don't even know what the questions are going to be. And it won't even matter what the questions are going to be, because I am not afraid to answer any question that is put to me. So I'm not going to use that as a cop-out not to show up, because the venue works like this. The questions are coming from the very people that are in the audience. So I won't know what the questions are, and none of my opponents will know what the questions are. And as a matter of fact, I will be there as a candidate. So I am totally not involved in any of the organization of this debate. And I will be under the same rules as everybody else. Now, as the producer of this show and the producer of News from Edgemont, I may say a few words in welcoming people, but outside of that, I'm a candidate just like anybody else. And this venue only holds 200 people. So if we have to go into the parking lot and do it Edgemont style, we're going to do that. But however, I would strongly advise you to get there early and write your questions down. However, News from Edgemont is going to ask 3 main questions of all the candidates that we think needs to be asked. And it's very important for our city. And we're going to put those questions up before, so every candidate can see what the question is. And it's very simple. One of the questions: what are you going to do about big money in politics before and after the election? If you get in and if you don't get in. Very simple question, I think. What are you going to do about the Edgemont situation in the Edgemont area? Because it is in Edgemont. We want you to see our plight. What is your plan for that? What are you going to do about the Box Springs water situation as well? I'm sorry, that would be part of the Edgemont thing. What are you going to do about Edgemont and the Box Springs water thing? And then third, what are you going to do about our public safety budget? So those are 3 things that we think that are very important to the venue and the debate. So I'm going to be there, and we hope the other candidates will be there. If you do not show up as a candidate and you're running for mayor, you might as well go ahead and take your signs down right now because you just lost the election. You cannot win mayor and not address this issue. Because if you don't show up, it basically tells everybody you just don't give a damn. And what's continuing here in Edgemont is going to continue under your regime if you are elected. And I don't believe any candidate is that callous and that cold of a person that will not sit here and face the residents of the neighborhood of Edgemont and answer their questions. If they don't show, you don't vote. It's as simple as that. I mean, that's how I feel about it. And another reason why I'm doing this, and I've done a lot in 2 years, because I'm not one of those people that runs every 4 years and says, oh, here I am, vote for me. I'm not doing that. The reason why this show was started because people did not have enough information and they were voting for candidates that had pretty signs. And that's great. You have all the signs you want, that's great. What have you done? And I can only speak right now of District 1. What have you done? What are your accomplishments? It's nice to have photo ops and look, I'm being endorsed by so-and-so, and then we find out it's not true and all this other stuff. What I believe the residents want to know results. What are the results? And it was brought to my attention that nobody wanted to do a candidate debate or forum in District 1. And I believe the reason that is because LaDonna Jimson cannot defend against the fact that she's a former bank robber. And so if that's brought up at the debate, you know, she's going to have to spend all night defending that. And then let's say Miss Baca, if she is at the debate, she's going to have to defend the fact that she was recalled 2 years ago. And that's very, very hard to do, no matter what she says. Well, you know, again, you know, Chris Baca, well, you work for the WLC or whatever, you know, you championed it or whatever, you helped Ixtin Gutierrez in his legal fight against the city when Mr. Gutierrez should have stepped down like he said he was. So I did this because there was a need. And this is what I'm talking about the established candidates and an agenda that is going on, 360 degrees of association. Why wouldn't you want some kind of forum to where the residents can ask the candidates questions? I'll tell you why they don't want that. Just like I just said, Miss Jimson has no record to run on of her own accord. She can tell you about the nice functions she's been to. She can tell you about, oh, I'm doing this. But when we asked her 2 to 3 months after she got on that seat to stop the killing in the animal shelter, nothing has been done till this very day. And right now, she is named in a lawsuit and the city is being sued because of Miss Jimson's inaction. And that's just an animal shelter. Now, wait a minute. There was a candidate that ran 2 years ago that talked about that and ran on that, stopping the killing in the animal shelter. Wow. I think you're looking at that candidate. Now, I'm not going to use the animal shelter as something that, oh, I champion, because I'm not going to sit here and be a Johnny-come-lately and be like, oh, yeah, I did this and I'm doing adoptions. No, I'm not doing stuff like that, okay? I did go to the meetings. I do champion a lot of causes, and I'm going to have some animal advocates on the radio show very, very soon. And we're going to talk about the problems in the animal shelter. I mean, I'm not going to use that to my advantage. All I know is I have 3 animals that I love to death. I got them from the shelter, and I knew that there was a problem in that shelter for a long time. And I have an answer to what I'm going to do as a candidate to deal with the animal shelter. And I'll wait till the debates. If you want to hear it, please come on out. And please like and share this video. Get it out there so people could know. Social media is the fastest way to get your message out. I could put something out and 100 people would know about it within 2 seconds. It's a lot better than going out there in this heat, door to door, dealing with the heat and dealing with people slamming stuff in your doors and stuff like that. I'm doing that as well. But social media is the new medium to do things and get information out. And that's what the establishment doesn't want. They don't want this. And everybody says, well, Donovan, you don't have a chance in hell of winning. Well, that's an opinion. But for somebody who doesn't have a chance in hell of winning, I sure am making a lot of waves. And that's what this is about. And I'm not just making trouble just to make trouble. A lot of people talk the talk, but are they walking the walk? No. And I'm going to tell you a quick story before we go, because I don't want this to be 15 minutes. I was walking my dog from Adrian Mitchell Park, as I usually do. And it was in the morning because she was begging me, and I forgot to do it last night. So I'm taking her out in the park, and I'm walking. And a person pulls up to me in his SUV, and, nice Hispanic guy. And, at first I'm kind of like, I got to be very cautious because, I'm not very popular with the Bacas and things like that. So I got to be cautious. But he pulls up and he goes, hey, aren't you that guy that gets stuff done around here? And I said, yeah, how can I help you? And he goes, hey, my street light is out. And he lives in the next cul-de-sac next to me. So I told him about the city app and I told him about Nextdoor. And you can do it. But I said, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it for you. No problem. If you've been watching this page, it's deeds. It's not words, it's deeds. I'm getting stuff done. And if you think that after this election, if I don't win, I'm going to go away, I haven't left in 2 years, and I think that nobody will disagree with me. I think I have a legitimate gripe about the situation over here in the neighborhood of Edgemont. Nobody can disagree with that. And public servant, know what it means. Public servant means you're serving the public. You're a representative. You're not a leader. Just because you were elected does not make you a leader. You represent the people, representative government. You work for us. We tell you what to do and how to do it. And you listen to our concerns, not the other way around. You're not going to sit there and tell me, well, even though I fought and I fooled you guys and said that I was fighting the WLC, I'll go and vote for it because I know what's best. That's the kind of candidates we have. And nobody is fighting these candidates. I've been fighting the Bacas for 2 years, keeping them accountable. And it's not personal. Politics is not personal. Politics is no different than football, basketball, anything. And if you get involved in politics, you're supposed to play to win. And if you're an upstanding person, you're going to run a clean campaign that are based on the issues. And this is another reason why we're having this debate. We want to hear about the issues. And I have a plan. And I'm going to tell you what my plan is. And there's nobody to tell you what Edgemont needs than somebody who actually lives in Edgemont. And that's the bottom line. And I hate when people say, well, you don't live in Edgemont, you live in the newer part of Edgemont. It's still Edgemont. When there was no Moreno Valley, this was considered Edgemont. My mail said Edgemont. That's the way it is. Then that lighting guy that needed his lights fixed, we can't even go to the city to do it. The city, you have to go to the Edgemont Community Service District. So I am in Edgemont. We're in that zone. I don't care if we don't look like Edgemont, but we're in the zone of Edgemont, and that's the bottom line. So we have a lot of things coming up. Please like and share and get the word out about this debate. The Press Enterprise has been informed. We're getting other news agencies to come out and cover it. If these candidates do not show up at this debate, they do not deserve your vote, because this is their chance to shine and show us what they are going to do about the neighborhood of Edgemont and District 1. We have a lot of restaurants opening and closing, businesses on Day Street opening and closing. What are they going to do? What are they going to do about the mall? Never made money, businesses are opening and closing. This is their time to shine. And if after 30 days of notification, a candidate does not show up, that tells you a lot about that candidate. But these are just some of the things that I'm doing, and I'm going to continue to do it even after the election. And when I become the new representative, you guys want to see some action? Get ready, because you haven't seen anything yet. I'm Donovan Sadiq, candidate for District 1. This has been my thoughts for today.